Good evening and welcome to the Nighttime Heat, directed on Prom FM 105.5. And of course, this program has been relayed by Radio Gagema, that is in Nimba County, Radio Kwatika in Bon County, and of course, Radio Wulogisi in Lofa County, where our dear President hails from. I'm sure you can detect from the voice, right? I'm under the weather, but never mind, I'm still here. Tonight promises to be very, very interesting, very, very feisty. Please, I'm hoping that you get close to your radio or your cell phone or your laptop because we are also streaming online. We are streaming on Prime FM Morovia 105.5. Again, Prime FM Morovia 105.5. And also, we are streaming live on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Just tap a Nighttime Heat. As soon as you do so, you're going to watch the show online. And of course, not just watching the show, we also encourage you to share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also be on top of what is happening tonight. Today marks the first edition of this week. And so please join us and let's have a splendid time. My panelists, Moses Sandy, I'm sure will shortly join us. George Kennedy is already in studio. Let me try to welcome George. George, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Good evening. Good evening to you and to the people of Liberia, many listeners, and also to our dynamic technicians who are doing extremely well to keep us here.
Yeah,
I'm not feeling too well today, but
I know, likewise myself. I know, yeah. Likewise myself. But I was working with you anyway.
It wasn't bad. Thank God we are alive. We started experiencing fever, but it's okay. It will be okay.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah,
it will be. We're hoping that Moses can join us quickly. Tonight we'll be looking at the Supreme Court of Liberia. Today opened its October term, and the Chief Justice spoke. He made a very, very sparkling, clean speech, And likewise, the President of the Republic of Liberia also spoke. We'll be looking at, critically, we'll be trying to analyze what they said today. It's all about judicial reform and adhering to the rule of law. Are we as a country, as a people? It's just one thing to say something, it's another thing to follow exactly. So tonight we'll be looking at that. What are we are actually adhering to the rule of law, that part of the arrest agenda. And also we'll be looking at, we'll be trying to figure out what is causing the drama between the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, Jeremiah Okpan-Kom, and Senator Samuel Koga. They're both from the same county. What are they at loggerhead? But the VP today spoke on Gunpowder Radio, I'm sure. We got the tape we hope to play to hear some of his reactions, his pushbacks to some of the things Jeremiah Okpan, not Jeremiah, but Senator Koga has been saying about him. In fact, I was just reading online also, people been trying to hail him for responding in a more respectful and peaceful manner. And people say, oh, it's really a leader. But we'll listen also, and of course, we're going to get our own take on that. Also, tonight, we'll be treating three major topics. There's this whole rumor, there's this report, circulating about attempt to remove the deputy speaker of the House of Representatives,
Thomas Fala.
Thomas Fala. It's actually truth. We'll be trying to figure out that whether there's any truism in what people are saying, that there are attempts. In fact, some lawmakers have already gathered the group. In fact, that's heading that they've already gathered a signature, or we're hearing signatures from my colleagues. But there are others who think that 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 coup should be aborted, and so we'll be looking at that. If we'll be looking at the attendant consequences, if that really is spark off, if the whole law is about his removal comes to the public again, and how does that affect the operation of the law house again? As we saw in the attempts in the effort to remove the former speaker. So we'll be looking at that tonight. That's our topic. So hoping that you can join us. Just again, go on your phone, your laptop, or get glued to your radio and join us on the nighttime heat tonight. This program promises to be very interesting. It's the intent of this program is to espouse the interest of our dear country, Liberia. This is not a program to enter any administration, not the opposition or those who are not in position. This program is basically for everyone. That's the reason why we try our possible best almost every night to have variety of voices, different perspectives. People who have their that views can come on this program and express them. Nobody going to sanction or nobody going to prevent you from expressing your views. That's the nature. That's the reason why this program was set into motion. So tonight, again, promises to be very interesting. Want to share the show? Kindly share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones can also be on top of what is happening tonight on the program. Well, before going to our topic, because I'm sure Mr. Edwin Fumble will be joining us, Alakwa Sandy, what's on your mind?
Yes, I think that is a big news that the public, people miss, most of the people miss. The Central Bank of Liberia cut interest rate by 1 percentage point during the course of the week. Last week, I think it was around 17.65%. Official, but it came down to 16.65%. That is something that we should hear, because if the cost of borrowing is less, definitely you will see the economy expanding, because you will see people increase access to finance, and also it also has an effect or impact on the cost of goods on the market. I mean, the retail cost. I want to encourage the central bank to go further to reduce it, because once the official cost of borrowing is less, you will find out that people will easily access capital to build homes, open businesses, and other things. I'm really praying that it comes down to not more than 10%. Yeah.
And besides, hoping that it can also be it can be sustained. Because often we introduce something, and at the end of the day we don't sustain it. It's short-lived. So hoping that if that reduction is done for the purpose of for helping our people to improve their lives, we're hoping that the central bank can be able to first go further and effect more reductions, so that at least our people can be able to access and be able to pay. Because when the rate, the interest rate is so high, it makes it impossible for our people to go and access a loan. Because the payment plan and payment activity can be very difficult for them. We all know the economy. We know, yes, things are picking up, but often you listen to some business people say, "Well, I've not made business yet since I came today," and so hoping that when the interest rate is more reduced, many people go to banks and sustain it. Many people go to banks and access that loan and improve their lives and build their houses, and in fact, business people will be able to also expand and
new businesses.
So we're hoping that can happen.
So as a first step for it to really be open like this for people to see some type of important interest rate, I want to use this platform to thank the governor and the board of governors of the central bank. We haven't spoken with them for long. We hope that when we do such things, the platform is here. You can utilize the platform. Just releasing press statement of your own. We are here. The nighttime heat is here. You can avail yourself. You can stay home. You can participate online. You can phone in, and we can be able to share the good news properly. Because I know between now and December, we hope that will come lower. Because right now, as it is at 17 or 16, at 16.65%, it is now honest where nobody should borrow money to someone above that. Some people are doing it at 20%, 22%. This and that. So I think it will help us. It will help the economy. Yeah.
Yes, another thing that been trending, the Drug Enforcement Agency, in fact, has come up to say it is now ready to begin confiscating the properties of individuals, whether your vehicles, whether your home, whatever it is. If drugs are found in them, they're going to confiscate it, and at the end of the day, you may not even get that property back. So I think it's another strong measure aimed at discouraging, the widespread sale or consumption of narcotics.
So I don't know if the law establishing the DEA
allows for that.
Yeah, allows for that. If it is so, I think it's something that I thought that may be fundamentally against the Constitution.
Okay.
Yeah, let's face the reality. We've been here advocating for the DEA. We've been here even logistical sports, all of those things. We brought it. The officer in charge here, and he spoke well, and he's doing a lot of good things. But does the gun kill, or do the people kill? If you put a bullet in a gun, you put a gun right here. Nobody touches it, will not kill anybody. Okay, people use a gun to kill. What about the house? If someone doesn't carry the drugs in the house, would that house with drugs be there? So I thought we should focus on the dealers, the people who bring in it, the people who are trading in these things. They're going. I don't really know what the intent of this.
I think the DEA is making reference to those who are those who are importing the drugs on a very large scale and using their home to keep the drugs there, to store the drugs and then market it to other people or market it to the user. So I think those are the people the DEA talking about. Let's assume maybe if DEA came in prime FM and saw a huge quantity of drugs, I think they are saying that probably confiscated, because apparently that's the drugs money that the individual, the owner of the property, use to build the property. So maybe they should forfeit, whatever it is. I think that's their intention to also scare our people who are involved with the huge inputting of the drugs. So I don't think it's anything anti the Constitution. I don't think that's against the Constitution. I think the DA is on the right trajectory and the right course to. Let's think about drug, George. Kennedy.
Yeah.
We need to take all of the hard steps, all of the hard measures, and hard decisions, to nail it to the bottom. If we don't do it, people will continue to use our porous borders to bring in narcotics. They're going to use the airport. And one thing, in fact, when we hosted the ORC, the officer in charge, he said, they're trying to get scandal. I hope we can get that as well. Can have scandals too, because that's the way you can detect whether drugs, whether a vehicle is carrying drugs or drugs is falling the horn, or whether an aircraft came and they got a huge quantity of it on the aircraft. So we need all of those capacities. We need all of those fighting equipment. If we can get scandals, it means our effort will not yield of desired results. Yes, the government did extremely well in recent time. Capacity to the DA was about 15, right? 15 vehicles or pickups. The government did extremely well, and I think the ORC was giving some accommodation to the Minister of Finance.
Nice, yeah.
He said he has taken, important. He has taken this whole thing about drugs to his heart. So he was able to help the DA. But we need to go forward. The government needs to do more for the DA. That thing was scandal. It's very, very
scandal.
That scandal is very.
You move way around the vehicle and it tells you exactly which company of the vehicle and a trader or importer has the illicit material.
Yeah,
it's very, very important. And and a major step that is taken in line with the laws, the constitutional laws of Liberia, to stand this menace in our society. I support it 100%, because some of us have relationship to some families whose families have been affected. And very close.
But every family is affected.
Every family
is affected.
Yeah.
When it comes to the issue of drugs, it should be fought holistically, nationally. Every family is affected. Nobody can tell me, oh, my son or my nephew, my cousin, or some family member is not on drugs. No, every family is affected. That's the reason why, when it comes to these drugs things, some of us we get very passionate about it. We get very passionate. We want the government to do more. To support the DA.
And we want the regional bodies to come in. We want this fight to be regionalized. I read a post from someone complaining about the quantity of drugs that comes from Liberia through Shalom, Bula, Waterside, how they're arresting it every time. If Shalom is not stamping this fight, this fight as we are doing, it will be difficult for us. If Guinea is not doing it, if Ivory Coast is not doing it, it will be difficult.
Yeah.
And, so they're saying the transnational traders, trade routes in our country, in the South region, we need to try to stamp this fight. That's why we said we should regionalize the fight.
Yeah.
Because we're making frantic efforts. But if our neighbors are not, we won't be safe because of the porous nature of our borders.
Yeah.
And the type of cultural relationship that we have. And you can't go to let's say, for example, came out and you say you cannot see Charlene because the fight is across border like this. Some work on the other side. The same way with the same way with other countries are sharing borders with Africa, with Maryland and other countries. So we just have to regionalize it.
Yeah.
And in that way, if Africa is fighting, Guinea is fighting, Solomon is fighting, Liberia is fighting, that would be a little bit of fear in the MRU, about who to bring drugs. And we got to be more rigid about it. So yes, so I mean, we need to fight it. It's not. So I want to commend the OIC and his team, LDA. We still have to do more.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with you. We still have to do more because as we are on the back of the importers, the users, so they themselves too, they are on our back.
Yeah.
So we have to do more. You're fighting them, they are fighting you too.
Yeah.
And many of the importers, they know that this is a cartel.
I saw a 70-year-old lady who put the drugs in the oil, the red oil in the gallon.
She was picked up, right?
She was picked up. Okay. Just imagine how fast the people are thinking. Nobody had a second thought.
Because the people know that the thing gives them fast money.
Yeah.
Unlike other commodities, the users are increasing, the number are increasing on a daily basis. So if I can sell the drug, can imagine all the bad nature.
Yeah.
Put the drug in red oil, trying to consume it and sell it to our children. And why she doesn't have children?
She doesn't care.
What she goes to Jordan and just spend her time. But let's try to welcome Mr. Eddie Family. He's always with us. Family, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mr. George.
And lawsuit, right?
Yes, and good evening to our listening public.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. We got a couple of topics I'm sure I shared that with you. But we're just talking about the issue of the war against drugs. They're saying that the government has done extremely well, especially in this time when they donated some vehicles, but they go more. They need to do more. The DE also wants a scanner because they want to know where the narcotics is coming from, which vehicle came in it, which house has it, and that's the only way they can detect it. So, what's your take on that?
Well, I think we've discussed this issue of drugs over and again, and we're still saying the same thing. Yes, it is laudable that the government see the need to provide vehicles and other logistics for our DA officers, but also it's critical at the various crossing points at the airports and other areas that we have total scanning machines, because like you rightly said, as you are fighting this menace, other people are there also trying to look for ways in which they can infiltrate the system. Yes, of course, because drugs is a lucrative business. Whether we elected or not. And I listened to Brother Kennedy when he said this whole thing about the regional fight. We have this intertrade in the Mana River region, where when you ask some of the borders, you see these truckloads of goods coming in. The DA officers are not going to offload all of the goods on that particular vehicle to know exactly what is in there. It is based on what is given to them by the guys.
Manifest, yeah.
Yes, by their manifest. But within those particular truck, there could also be drugs concealed on those trucks. But how do we, pick up these things? That's why when you go to some of the major airports around the world now, they have even dogs. Because dogs, those sniffing dogs can pick up, the different scent of the different object from even afar. He also talks about the issue of, scanning those vehicles to know exactly what is in there. Even at the port of entry.
Yeah.
Because most of the goods that come from the bigger economies like China, like the US, those vessels don't come directly to Liberia. They're translated, some of them to Morocco and other places, and then those goods are put on a smaller vessel. During that process, anybody can, chips in those things that come to your port. So do we have those scanning mechanisms at the port to make sure that containers are top of the scan before it comes out? Yeah. So it's a long haul. It's a fight that need a lot of investment for us to be able to win.
I agree,
but it's very serious.
I agree with you. We can open the lines briefly before we get into our discussion, or should we just get into our discussion and discuss the other three topics for open the lines? What do you guys?
Yeah, that's it.
Because this drugs thing, is
okay. So let's try to open the lines. 086 050507. Again, 086 050507. Or better still, 0778 460 793. Again, 0778 460 793. We've been talking about the issue of drugs. We want the government to go further. Yes, the government is doing extremely well. Just recently, they donated some 50 vehicles. But again, want more to be done. We want the whole fight against drugs to be regionalized. We want the government to get in contact with the Sierra Leone and the rest of the other countries around our borders to show that they join the fight as well. What do you think? What's your take? Like I said earlier, this whole issue of drugs, it's everybody's business, because no family will say I'm not affected. No, all of us are affected. If your son, your daughter, but it could be your nephew, it could be your sister's son, it could be your relatives, affected. So let's hear from you. What's your take? 0778 460 793. Again, 0778 460 793. Or better still, 0886 050507. Again, 0886 050507. 0507. That's the number to call and to a live on program. Again, we want to encourage you to share the show. Kindly share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones can also follow on the nighttime heat tonight. We want you to share. We are streaming live on Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. Again, Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. Also, we are streaming live on our Facebook page. That's the Nighttime Heat Facebook page. Also, we are streaming live on our YouTube channel, Nighttime Heat YouTube channel. You can share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones can also follow the show tonight. Again, you want to chip in, you are limited. 0886 050507. Again, 0886 050507. In fact, the DA had said that it will be confiscating, the properties of individuals who are selling those selling the drugs, while involved in the sale of drugs, because apparently many of them they must build those homes from the proceeds, so the DA said, in a moment from now, we'll start that process of confiscating homes out of vehicles or whatever it is. What do you think? Let's hear from you tonight. 0886 050507. Again, 0886 050507. Or better still, 0778 460 793. That's the number to call. 0778 460 793. You call those two numbers, you're going to be live on the show as well. It's a run. We'll have to go strictly into our other discussion quickly. Generally, we all are aware that the Supreme Court today opened its October 10, October term, rather, of court. The Chief Justice spoke, and the President of the Republic of Liberia also spoke at that program. I'm sure it was all about judicial reform, but let's try to hear the Chief Justice a bit, and then we can also listen to the President. The President said some things in his speech. We're going to critically look at that as well, where we are, in line with what the President has said as a country, as a people, where we are actualizing that part of the arrest agenda, the rule of law. Let's hear the Chief Justice briefly. Yes, we're trying to get the actual video. We do apologize. We're trying to get the actual video of the Chief Justice, but it seems that we're trying to get it. But let's hear from the president. Wow. So okay, so we have the script already, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Let me read what we have, and then we can go strictly into our discussion tonight. Let me read what we have. I'm sure we do have the text here. You're listening to the Nighttime Heat. You're right here on Pram FM 105.5. Okay, I'm trying to see what I can get up quickly to read. Okay. His Excellency Joseph Boakai Senior, President of the Republic of Liberia, remarks on the occasion of the opening of the October term of the Supreme Court of Liberia, Monday, October 13, 2025. Okay, let me now go to all the. He said, this morning we gather in the Temple of Justice to mark another important chapter in the history of our nation's judiciary. This occasion signifies not just the start of a new court term, but also the renewal of public trust in one of the three equal branches of our government. Today, we also witness a moment of transition and a hope. On behalf of the government and people of Liberia, I extend heartfelt congratulations to His Honor Yami Kukwebesi, the Chief Justice, as he assumes the highest judicial office in our republic. We commend his expressed determination to pursue long-needed reforms within the judiciary, reforms that will strengthen the rule of law and restore the confidence of our citizens. Equally, we welcome His Honor Boakai M. Kane, the new Associate Justice, whose appointment brings new energy, experience, and perspective to the bench. His inclusion is both symbolic and substantive, representing the renewal of the judiciary and a continued effort to strengthen its integrity, balance, and independence. The role of the judiciary in safeguarding democracy. Our system of governance is based on three separate coordinate branches: the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. Each has its mandate, but all share one sacred obligation to serve the Liberian people with integrity, fairness, and respect for the law. The judiciary stands as the ultimate guardian of liberty and fairness. It is here that every Liberian, rich or poor, educated or uneducated, must find protection and justice. When justice is blind to status, remains unbiased and fair in its rulings, the people grow to trust their institutions and democracy flourishes. A moment of reflection. Okay, let's try to follow. Okay, reform and renewal of confidence. In recent years, our citizens have voiced concerns about the slow pace of trials, lack of transparency in proceedings, and the perception that justice sometimes bends under influence. These concerns are legitimate and they demand urgent, courageous, and genuine reform. I am encouraged by the Chief Justice's vision to modernize court administration, improve case management, strengthen judicial integrity, and to decentralize justice delivery so that no Liberian must have long distances to seek fairness. As president, I reaffirm our commitment to supporting the judiciary's independence, while also ensuring improvement of the conditions under which our judges and magistrates work. Justice and national development. As we pursue the arrest agenda for inclusive development, with Payload 3 being the rule of law, we must never forget that justice and development are inseparable. A nation cannot progress where laws are ignored, where contracts are broken, or where the weak have no recourse. Investors will come only when processes are predictable, the law is clear and respected, and citizens will obey laws that are fair and consistently enforced. A call to duty and integrity to the honorable justices, judges, and magistrates across the country. I urge you to perform your duties with dignity, humility, and courage. The robe you wear is not a symbol of privilege, but of service. Let your judgment be guided by truth and conscience, and let every decision you make strengthen the people's trust in our courts. Okay, gentlemen, let me leave you at that. That's the president of the Republic of Liberia speaking today at the opening of the October term of court. But let's hear from you first. Give us an understanding when one talks about the opening of a new term. How long? What is the term? How long does a term last? And why this normally? Why this formal ceremony? Let's hear from you.
So it is a normal judicial practice all over the world. For Liberia, we have the Supreme Court has two terms, March and October. So at every term, there is this ceremony to bring in all of the lawyers and all of the justice actor,
Okay.
including the heads of state, the speaker, to come in and let them know that the Supreme Court is officially open for business. Unlike the circuit court, they also have different terms, because you have the civil law court has its own different term of opening, and then the general circuit also have different term of opening.
Okay.
But the Supreme Court has only two terms, March and October term. So this is the October term that actually marks the official sitting of the Justice Business Bench.
Okay.
Yes. So therefore, it was a unique ceremony that actually brought in the three branches of the government, because the president represents the executive branch of government, and then the speaker represents the judiciary or the legislative branch. Yes, because in our body politics, whenever the two houses meet, the speaker presides. So in fact, even in the ranking of ascendancy, the speaker is there. You get the president, the vice president, and then the speaker. So, and today the speaker was there.
Okay.
But in there, due to the protocol, the president, after the chief justice gave his speech, the president speaks. No, the justice minister speaks for, because he's the dean of the Supreme Court. And then from there, they allow the president of the bar association, because the president of the bar controls all lawyers within the Republic of Liberia, including even the chief justice. And then the president speaks. So it's just the normal activity, like how the legislature itself,
Okay.
when they come into when they're about to open sessions,
formal ceremonies.
they hold those
Okay.
formal ceremonies also.
Okay, so we'll go into the president's speech, but let me try to welcome Moses quickly. Moses has just joined. Moses, welcome to the program. How was your weekend?
Well, thank you. First, let me say thanks to you and the crew for holding up. You guys been doing a wonderful job. The weekend was okay.
Moses, you are not coming in
Am I
properly
broken?
clear.
Yeah. Do you hear me
No,
now?
I
Are you
think you have to
hearing
go
me?
back.
The
Okay.
internet
No,
is
the
bad.
internet is bad, Moses.
Okay,
We are
I'll
not
come
hearing
back.
you.
I'll come back. I'll come back.
Go off and come back on.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
gentlemen, let me read this aspect of
The president's comment.
yes. As we pursue the arrest agenda for inclusive development, with Pedro 3 being the rule of law, we must never forget that justice and development are inseparable. A nation cannot progress where laws are ignored, where contracts are broken, or where the weak have no recourse. What is your interpretation of that?
So the president was basically saying that for a nation to strive, the very first and cardinal thing that you need to know or respect is the rule of law. Because in every democracy, in fact, the rule of law sets at as the pillar of a democracy. God forbid if there is anarchy today in our state, if there is anything, the first place that closes down is the court. The court does not operate in chaos, in confusion. So therefore, if there's no nation in the world that have ever moved forward in the absence of the rule of law, it's cardinal to any democracy.
So when you
And-
talk about the rule of law, just give us an understanding. Yes, I know George will come in, but what contains the rule of law?
Well, the judiciary itself is the pillar, all right, because you have the whole justice system. You know, you have the whole criminal justice system that has to go through that whole framework, right? So the judiciary serve as the interpreter of the law. So if you and I come in conflict with the law, the only place that we go for redress is before the judiciary. So therefore, they have to say, Slobber, you are right, Formula, you are wrong, or the way you guys proceed. I think you guys should go and find a way to set up this thing. And also, if you break the law, there are penalties. So it is the court that will have to actually tells you exactly that this is the penalty for you breaking that law. So if that system that's supposed to make sure that there is some level of, respect for each other, if that system is broken, then you have serious problem in the state.
Okay, so this is what we want us to talk about. But let me come to George. George, we listened to the president said development and the rule of law, they are inseparable. There's absolutely no way you can splinter them. It's not possible. But he has spoken. The president has spoken. That the rule of law must be adhered to, especially for development to come. Because if that's not happening, you're not going to get investors' confidence. Investors will not come to the country. From your own perspective, and what you also read and you see in the whole justice system, do you think we are on course with what the president has just said? Let's hear from you.
No,
Okay.
not to the full yes.
Okay, let me welcome Moses again quickly. Moses, welcome to the program. Moses, welcome. Moses, when you in America, internet giving you a hard time. Moses, welcome. From where? Yeah. Oh, but then I know.
So
Okay,
not to the
so,
full
yes.
yes, not to the full yes that I would expect. I've always complained on this radio. I mean, I've always called for judicial reform. I've always want a reform where the judiciary will see a major case and announce that the case will be adjudicated in 6 weeks, 12 weeks, and 6 months, this and that. That doesn't mean that I'm trying to, degrade or disgrace them. They are professionals. But I think they should work in a way that when I take a case to the court, I will know when the case will start and when we end. If I don't have the evidence to prove my case,
Dismiss the case. Yeah.
Okay.
because that is not happening. The president is telling them that look, we need to step up the plate. We are fighting hard going out there looking for investors, but they are looking at our judicial system. How long it takes to adjudicate one commercial case in the court, for example. How long?
Let me come in. Let me hear from the law student. He's learning law. What is but let me get your take first before I come to what is responsible. You heard the president talk about how development and the rule of law they're
inseparable, of course.
If the rule of law is not being adhered to, it's not possible for investors to come.
No,
from what you see, you are a law student. You go to court. I mean, you go to classes. You talk about the law issue. You got some hardcore professors who are also teaching you. From what you see, do you agree that we are on course with the rule of law here?
Well, I wouldn't agree 100% because, like you rightly said, like Brother Kenneth said, there are challenges in our court system, and it is not, it didn't just start now. It's a whole lot of different layers, right? So, take for examples, we have about 16 circuits, meaning the different court, aside from the magisterial courts. So certain cases go at the circuit level. Now, all of those circuits, if they are appealed, because our judicial system calls for appeal. So if the case ends and the lawyer takes an appeal, that appeal goes to the Supreme Court. So in many instances, the Supreme Court docket is filled with cases. One of my professors said, Justice Banks, he was teaching us constitutional law, and he said to us, there was a lady with a cell phone case. The phone cost $10. That case went to the circuit court, and the case ended at the Supreme Court. And when he was sitting in chambers, he said, but look, don't come and waste the court time. We can give you the $10, go and buy a phone. Then he said, no, it is not about the $10, but the way in which to form these processes, like he said, in the United States, there are different layers of courts. So that's not all cases reach to the federal Supreme Court. No. It has to be at constitutional matters. And most of the cases that goes to the U.S. Supreme Court, it goes on certiorari. So it's difficult for that because they have district courts, they have the other one or so. So if we can start making the same reform here, let's say we have appeal courts, right? So if the case comes from maybe Grand Cape County, maybe we say we have a regional appeals court. So all the cases that are going on appeal from Cape Mount, Bomi, from Bapulu, you have an appeal court there that can go there, and then those cases can be adjudicated. It will help to actually shorten the time in which important cases at the Supreme Court are heard.
Okay, let's try to welcome Moses. Moses, welcome to the program. I'm sure internet.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'm getting in the middle. It's very wet here at my end today. You see me, I'm rolling so much. You've been very crazy. But it's a pleasure to see you guys. Yes. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you too, Moses. We are trying to look at, do a critical analysis of the president's address today at the opening of the October term of court. And we just read precepts from the speech of the president. What we're looking at now, the president indicated that the issue of the rule of law and development absolutely are inseparable. It means that if you don't have the rule of law, you're not going to achieve development. So the question is, and I also want you to answer this. The two individuals said, "Well, no," but let's hear from you. What's your perspective? What's your view on that? Do you think we have the rule of law? We are on course, rather, as a country, as a people, with the rule of law. Do you think the arrest agenda, the arrow in the arrest agenda is being pursued, is being followed? Yeah.
Look, Sober,
I know you're different.
first, let me agree with the president. When the president said that the rule of law, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a student of law, I'm a student of communication. It is true that the rule of law and national development are inseparable. They're going hand in hand. Say, for example, you want a Moses Seni to come hypothetically to set up a business in Liberia, but your criminal justice system is corrupt. Moses Seni will get discouraged. He will not come. You will attract more investors in your country when you have regard for rule of law. When your legal system, there's understanding your legal system. So the president is absolutely right. You cannot have national development in any country where there's no rule of law. Now let's look at the unity party. Go online and Google Moses Sandy. I said President Bwaka is a dictator. I said so because he doesn't respect the rule of law. That's one of the weaknesses of this administration. The UP government has no regard for rule of law. If this administration had regard for rule of law, what happened at the Capitol would not have happened. The Supreme Court took a definitive position. The president chose to ignore that. The president chose to ignore that. And if you are the chief executive, you're not holding people accountable. You are enabling people who are breaking the laws of the country. It means that the country doesn't respect rule of law. You yourself don't respect rule of law. That's one of the foremost weaknesses of this administration. It means President Bwaka and his people have to do better in terms of rule of law. We don't have rule of law in Liberia.
Okay, all right, let's hold you there. George, he was very, very, that's what the most.
I don't know how many times we will, Mr. Sandy hold his opinion when it comes to that speakership process. But we have repeatedly told Mr. Sandy that he should follow the Supreme Court ruling clear. It was very clear that we recognize this person is a speaker, but Mr. Speaker, there is no law here that say the majority should be compared to go under the minority. Yes. So go back and do what you didn't do for yourself. It means go and enact a law. What constitutes that to be like a rule of law? You want that speaker, Kofa, to hold the government hostage. Because he's speaker, he cannot, no way for him to bring any budget on the table. Then you want the whole government to sit down and look at Kofa until the year the other person will say, let go sit down and before the government can run. That doesn't happen in the US, it doesn't happen anywhere. In the house there, it's a political house, it's a political theater.
But do you agree?
So it doesn't, when the president said, I will work with anywhere the majority is, he was right, because Article 33 is clear on it. So how do you call that as being a rule of law? Because he didn't say, your law may go on answer, you go sit down on the speaker. No president does that.
And just one minute, Mr. Fambule. I think most of what
let me just say something quickly. Look, I understand the passion. One thing to be a voice for the Unity Party. I respect you. Let me complete my thought. I respect your opinion. But look, let's look at what the law says. Article 3340 now of the Constitution. What does the Constitution say regarding presiding officer? It says the elected speaker. The elected speaker. When is a speaker elected? Every 6 years. Everything. The Supreme Court, the highest decision-making body in the country, did not say that, hey, everybody got to go and sit on a Kofa. But what did the Supreme Court say? It said, hey, we have come to reaffirm that we have a presiding officer, and that presiding officer is the Speaker of the Republic of Liberia. Fonati Kofa. You can be 10,000. You meet outside of that process. You are not recognized. And your president talking about quorum? Hey, man, kidding it.
So you know, Mr. Sani,
we can't do this. And there are several examples. Let me say something quickly. There are several examples. There are several examples of President Bouaka breaking the laws of the country. 10 positions. 10 positions. This may remove people and replace them with relatives. And you say the man respect rule of law? You live in Liberia. I don't live there. But these are things that are in the public domain, Mr. Kennedy. I understand your passion. And it is your right to support the administration. But let's be human. Let me stop there.
So he just said he spoke directly to me.
No,
Wait. Let me address. Let me speak to what he said.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me speak to what he said. You know, for me, I'm not going to say whether he's opposition spokesperson or not. But what he fails to quote directly is the law that he's quoting Article 49, Article 33. I'm telling you, don't quote what suits you. Quote what the law says about the speakership election. The law says you can elect a speaker for every 6 years, but you can remove that speaker for cause. The law did not spell out what cause is. Cause can be I don't like you, or you too far, I don't want you here. I'm already speaking in plain English so that he can understand, because he say here in America is true. You in America, maybe you don't really know these things. So when the majority, the thing law says, when the majority gather here, presided over by the speaker, but the majority they cannot go under the speaker. So there were classes. The law says the minority should meet time in time until they can force the speaker, the majority to go under them, to accept them. But the law did not spell out how. That was the Supreme Court ruled. That I'm holding you on, Mr. Sandy, on this case, because that's why you always beating your drum on here, because that one doesn't work. The drum is beating here, that drum can work here when it comes to the speakership. So the law says, and let me quote to you, the Supreme Court ruling says, go back and do for yourself what you are not done for yourself. Let me how the majority can go under the minority.
Mr. Kennedy, apart from the issue of the former speaker's removal that Moses always said,
and he really has
coming that the government does not respect the rule of law. And do you know of any instance, or do you know of any case where, because he started the issue of tenure position as well? Do you agree with him?
You see, there are certain tenure positions, and that's why mistakes were made in some of the processes. They left some of those people. And that's how the president's advisor, legal advisor, gave chance.
Moses, one minute, Moses.
Gave chances, Sonny. We are intellectuals here. We don't grandstand. Intellectuals don't grandstand. When you see the truth,
please
you say,
answer the question. Answer the question.
So at the end of the day, we all saw when the legal advisor of the president went on radio, if I had a press conference, and said the president has the right to appoint in all positions. And that thing brought legal brouhaha, lawyers came up, they came back, and then I up because they felt that it was wrong for him to have done that. I think at the law school student will speak to that, because I'm not a lawyer. But if those things happen,
in fact, we had a discussion on OKFM on that whole stuff, with our law and politics class.
So maybe you can elaborate further on that.
So let me come in. What Brother Moses needs to know, when the Kofa group went back to the Supreme Court, they went on a bit of information for the court to interpret what they have said in their previous ruling. And the court came back, like he rightly said, and said that, look, yes, the Constitution says you should elect a speaker once every 6 years. The speaker is one among equals. All right? The law also says you should have quorum to do business. Now, it is left with you to go back into your house, because we should know that there are 3 separate and coordinated branches. The judiciary cannot impose onto the majority bloc the speaker that they don't want. If they do that, it's an interference of that branch. So they say, go back into your house, because this is a political issue, and solve your problem. And that's why Kofa went back. And at the end of the day, he resigned because he knew that he never had the influence to be able to bring the majority.
Okay, I want to
now the president issue here is the two branches of the government that works with numbers: the legislative branch of government and the judiciary. Even at the level of the Supreme Court, there is no opinion that the court will make it didn't have the majority. There is no law that will be passed at the level of the legislature if they don't have the majority. And the president, speaking as the only person from the executive, is saying that in order to have the government functioning, I will have to work with where the majority based on the suggestion and opinion from his justice minister. The law gave the justice minister the authority to make such an opinion to the Supreme Court and also to advise the president as to the way forward. You cannot hold the country at hostage to say because Kofa was elected speaker and his majority colleagues have said that they don't want him.
Okay.
So we should wait until he can actually get the majority on his side.
It can work.
The country will shut down.
Moses, just to your reaction quickly, because the thing is, we're trying to deviate. I think that's what I see. Moses,
you're calling people partisan. Oh, you know what kind of plan we got for you? I call you partisan.
Moses, 1 minute.
Then we know your party.
Moses doesn't have any party. Moses, 1 minute. Moses, 1 minute. The president said in his speech, and which I want us to, restrict our discussion to that. Investors will come only where processes are predictable, the law is clear and respected, and citizens will obey laws that are fair and consistently enforced. Do we see our laws being respected? So what we are, I'm coming, Moses, the way we are proceeding, the way we are proceeding in trying to adjudicate cases, in trying to handle rate cases, can that encourage investors to come? That's the issue we are. Moses, let's hear from you on this.
Yeah, look, the examples are just too many, and I like this pronouncement from the president, and that is absolute hypocrisy. You have a president who breaks the law with impunity. Have you heard about the office of the ombudsman? What did the office of the ombudsman recommend to the president in recent times? You live in Liberia. I don't live there. Did the office of the ombudsman not make recommendation for termination of people in government as a result of the violation? Listen, let me complete my thoughts. As a result of the violation of the guys, allow me, let me complete my thoughts. Let's be all right. So the ombudsman made a recommendation. The president chose to look the other way. Who is the minister of education? The president's niece. Who is the minister of internal affairs? The president's cousin. The president went to the central bank, appointed a relative, removed someone who had a tenure position. The law says what? People, when you occupy a tenure position, you can be removed for a cause. What did the Liberian government do? They bought the former bank governor out. Hey, man. Let's talk it the Liberian way. Let me come in Liberian parlance. What type of country is this?
Moses, are you saying that with all those excesses or all those missteps by cooks, actors, and other investors cannot come in that direction?
Absolutely. You are literally driving investors away from the country because you do not respect the laws of the country. The president breaks the law of the country with impunity. Yes.
Moses, yeah.
So within the 1986 Constitution, Article 54 clearly gave the president the sole authority to appoint all executive officers. Now, you see, people always argue with this issue of tenure. up until the Talu case and I think the case with the guy from the lottery during President Weah time, there was no defined law on this whole issue of tenure. Now, in as much as the Constitution gave the legislature the right to establish, these are different
positions,
kind of positions or stuff. Now, the law is clear that if the individual or the commissioners are performing a quasi-judicial or a quasi-legislative functions, they can only be removed for a cause, and those causes should be clearly laid down in the law. In the absence of that, it still does not say that the president cannot remove them, because all executive officers directly are appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate. Now, if it happens that the president removed that individual, they have to be paid for the remaining time of that tenure. The laws are clear. It has happened in the United States. It has happened in other places also. It says that if they are removed, now, if Slobo George have a 5-year term at the central bank, and the president comes and say, I don't like the way how Slobo is handling the monetary issues of this country or so, but there are laws that say that he can only be removed for a cause or so. However, I don't think I can work with Slobo. The president can remove Slobo and pay Slobo for the remaining time. There's no breach.
It's not a violation.
Let me clarify something. Please.
In fact, one of the most important case in the United States is called Humphrey Executor v. United States government. That case, it was during, I think, President Reagan or one of those guys' time or so. So this guy was the head of the Federal Trade Authority. He was serving. And then when the new president came in and said that he didn't like, his approach as to the way how he was handling this issue, and the president dismissed him. That case went to the U.S. Supreme Court. And the U.S. Supreme Court said, in as much as he was performing a quasi-legislative and judicial issue, once he has been removed by the president has to pay him for the remaining time that he needed to serve. Bad lucky for him, he died even before the case.
So that's not a violation.
So that's why
violation.
No,
it's not a breach of the law.
Mr. Kennedy or Mr. Famule, you guys are talking to an educated person like any of you. Everything you guys are talking about are things that we all are aware of. The domain contract is consummated when someone is given a tenure position.
it's a contract.
Are you listening?
Yes, go ahead, Moses. Go ahead.
In that contract, that I want you to listen, that he or she can be removed for a cause. It's not acting on the basis of whims. It's on the basis of cause. Let's go to Talu. If you remove Talu for a cause, what has this government done to prosecute Talu for the allegation leveled against him? Where are the records? Where are the records? No, you made an allegation. You said, oh, Moses Seni, you are a bad manager. You must be able to establish what made Moses Seni a bad manager.
Okay, Moses.
You call Moses Seni. So you see,
yeah. Right before your eyes in the United States, there's a female.
No, let us not do the comparison. I'm not doing a comparison between America and Liberia. I'm speaking for the laws of Liberia. What happens in the United States is quite different in Liberia. Let us not do the comparison. We're not doing comparison. I'm talking about rule of law. They have a president.
Gentlemen,
if you ask him, I will leave you.
Moses,
yeah.
1 minute. Moses 1 minute, and Mr. Pambula and George Kennedy 1 minute. Gentlemen, I'm not feeling too correct. Now let's look at this. Let's put this in context. Moses is saying that with all the missteps by judicial actors, by the president, by the government, all those actions had driven away investors. That's coming. That's Moses's position. Now, the question to the both of you, Famule and George, how many new investors have come to this country in response to the way we are handling our rule of law? How many new investors? Let's not talk about Beer Mountain because the Benoit Ryan, Beer Mountain and Ashley Mittal and the Benoit, we inherited them. How many new investors? Because Moses is saying, look, because we tamper with tenure position, because we removed the speaker illegally, we did this. So as a result, investors are coming. So you guys then counter Moses by giving us the statistics tonight. How many new investors have come to the country?
So
in reaction,
we're right here. So, but I don't want you to end your.
Go ahead.
We're right here. The Chinese investors that came recently to the Ministry of Agriculture to invest $100 million in the agri sector. That CDC and Moses brought in. The real agreement I was just signed, $1.7 billion that CDC and Moses
has
brought
those taking effect now?
Let me tell you, let me tell you, they are signed. No, listen to me. No. They are signed. No, don't have they taking effect. No, don't. You gotta be fair with this thing, Sobo.
I'm fair. You see, you accuse me now. We have additional two topics. Moses is saying, no, that's not an issue that Moses doesn't know what's happening.
No, you
Moses' argument is, I come in.
New investors. That's why I found the name.
So have they taken effect?
Yes,
Have they provided jobs opportunity?
Slower. You asking me, right?
Yes.
Slower. If the rule of law was a problem, those contracts wouldn't have been signed. So let Mr. Sandy know.
Have those companies rolled out?
They got that time to start. Definitely starting this year.
Let me just come in.
But it's fine. They're all coordinated.
Sometimes I don't like to do comparison between the CDC and the United Party.
No, but we're not doing CDC.
I come in. No. In terms of investment that actually came into the country, in 2 years' time, I think we've received more investors into this country than it was for the past 6 years. In 2 years' time, and I think he has named few of them. Right now, you see, investors have their own plan. They have their own rollout plan. They do their feasibility study. They have to come in. They have to do a lot. And like he rightly saying, if the rule of law was not present here, the guys would not come in here to come and spend. In fact, Total should be spending over close to $1 billion, because if they have 4 blocks, they are estimating to spend over $200 million for each blocks. That's close to $1 billion.
So do we know the time that will be rolled out?
Things takes time.
Okay. All right. Let's hold on. Now, Moses got any impacting comment quickly on this, so that we can discuss our next topic. Moses, let's hear from you.
No. Let me say this quickly. Let me leave Mr. Famule and my brother Kennedy with that subjectivity. What they see as rule of law in Liberia, I don't see that as rule of law. So let us stop there. So let me quickly say this. Since we're discussing rule of law, I listened to you guys last week, and quickly, Sober, just allow me to say this.
No, Moses. Please, if you don't have any party comment
on this topic,
we can go to our next discussion.
The parties. The party comment. That's what I told you. I said my party comment on what we're discussing with reference to the rule of law. I said I want to leave Mr. Kennedy and Mr. Famule with their subjectivity. What they define as rule of law, I'm also sending CA differently. And we disagree on that. So there's no need for us to go back and forth. Because you have you have a group of people with a fixed mind. They have a fixed mind, so let's leave it like that.
Thank you.
comment on this issue
Thank you,
is
Moses. Okay, George. Quickly.
no National Guard in Boston. There is no brutality taking place in Boston. It didn't happen in California. The rule of law is so good that even Kushner, Jared Kushner, and the other.
Mr. Kennedy, I'm not making a comparison between the United States and Liberia. Don't go off tangent. You're making a comparison, and that is not a discussion.
But you went on the discussion. You calling me party spokesperson.
Okay, gentlemen, we have to go. Mr. Conway, do you have any final comment on this?
Well, basically, like we're saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
If the rule of law is not working, you will not have investors' confidence.
Okay.
People will not come to spend to actually put their money into your economy. Yes, Moses have said a lot of things. He talked about the tenure positions. He talked about this and that. But the president was very clear today, and the president spoke as a leader that actually wants to see the good thing for his country. Not only did he talk about the issue of the code or so, he also talks about justice for everybody.
Okay.
That justice should not be perceived based on who know you or who have the deepest pocket.
Okay, thank you. I think we treated the topic very well. The president's remarks today at the opening of the October term of court. Now, gentlemen, let's try to treat our second topic. What is really responsible for the drama between the Vice President Jeremiah Cohen and Senator Kofa, and what could be Koga rather, and what could be the attending consequences, especially for the VP who may likely have presidential ambition. But let's try to play this tape quickly. I will hope that this tape can play. 1 minute, Moses. Yes, Moses.
Yeah, I beg you, sir, but I don't want to go up tangent. I may be leaving early. I just want you to give me a few seconds. Let me provide a little bit of education on a very critical discussion that you guys had last week, which has to do with mental health and the police. Okay, so this is what happens, like in the United States here. When someone is being considered mentally ill, or someone with a problem of mental illness, like in the case of the police officers that were attacked by the individual that Liberian claimed was mentally ill. The action by the police, as it is practiced in the West, the action by the police to shoot and kill that man is justifiable. It is justifiable because there was imminent danger. His action put the safety of the police officers in danger. His action put the safety of other people in danger. On that basis, the police are all right to take him down.
Okay, Moses, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Moses. Thank you. We have to go to our next topic quickly. Let's try to play this tape quickly. Our producer, listening to the VP today, responding to some of the stuff that Koga had been throwing at him. Let's hear the VP. I hope
since almost a month now. According to him, you are on the neck of Nimba County. They were elected by the people the same way you were elected, but then you are not given a chance to run the county. Recommendations, you want to take the lead. For example, he went for Gonli Mambia to go to the Ministry of Commerce as Inspector General. You send Nyato Batu there. Everywhere that he has gone to recommend, you will cross in front of them. So you are on the neck of Nimba. For this reason, Senator Koga keeps firing. Even yesterday, he was in Encyclopedia with Honorable Roger Doma. He fired there again, that nobody can claim glory for his victory. He had good character. That is the reason why he won the election. So nobody can take that glory. What is actually happening between you and Senator Koga, and how do you hope this can be controlled, Honorable VP?
So all the thing I'm hearing are rumor. Nothing happened between me and Koga. Zero. In fact, Koga was in my office when last week. Last week I was in my office when Koga came in my office. And so the war with me talk, really people will talk. Koga have not approached me directly on any of those things you say. the election was very, the election was more about keeping the tribal balance in the county. That was the essence of the elections. During the election, there were some people who had come to argue in this book. You're talking about tribal balance in the county. But only 2 ministers who are in government are from the town tribe. The man people only have deputy ministers. Those were true. If you look at the 2 ministers we have in government today, Minister Kura and Minister are down people. You find Deputy Minister Myers, Deputy Minister Dolol, Deputy Minister Patrick Cooper, and some other people, they will come from the outside. But the Lima people, for the purpose of keeping the balance so high, they decided to bring Senator Koga. We say, I have no regret. If you brought the election back today, I will support Koga again today. No regret. I would do the same thing I did. Because I believe it, I went for it, I still believe it today. Now, right after the election, Dr. Cooper, who occupied a position that is equivalent to a deputy minister, resigned and got to go to the private sector. Goli is my guy. Goli is very close to me. Goli has come to me and talked to me. Senator Koga called me. And I told him, there's calls from the man side of the country that's low. The man people do not have a minister. They're small deputy minister that they get. You start taking it from them. Then how can we counter the message we get high in the country that we try to keep some balance? And and some of the people who came to me, that argument was strong. So we talked about it. And then we thought that we agreed, let them look on the mass side. So there were some names that came up. Lorena Duncan was one of those persons. And then when they look at the CV, all they have masters in the matter. CV, who matter did he got a master in procurement and supply. So, and the president took him, God, he know about it, Koga know about it, we all talk about it. If Koga has issue with that he will tell me. And so that's why, as far as I'm concerned, that nothing happening between me and Koga. Koga is the senator of Nima. He's supposed to represent people. I'm not senator of Nima. I'm at the leadership of the country. Every senator, every representative from every county, they got issues. They come to my office. The reason why the vice president office is in the capital building is to make sure most of these things that come from county. When it hits you, you meet the president, you inform the president. So my office, all members of the legislature, once you enter my office, you have access to see me. You represent from what? You got access to see me. You got issue in your county, you talk about it, if something I can address, fine. If I cannot address it, I take it to my chief. And when the chief gives instruction, people will arrange a meeting, you go see the president, and the president make that decision.
All right. So, gentlemen, you listen to the VP, the Vice President Jeremiah Mancon. It's been on an attack in recent time by Senator Koga. Koga has been beating on the Vice President, but today he came up and officially responded to some of the things. And you heard him said, but what's your takeaway? And with the way he responded, what do you think going to happen? And now would that discourage Koga from continuing, or would that still encourage Koga to continue?
Well, I would have allowed Brother Kennedy to go first because I know the two individuals.
You know them
personally.
well.
Yes, I know Koga and myself were schoolmates at the AMU. The vice president, when he was senator, he and myself have been friends for a little while now, a very long time. This is somebody who I've had close, talk with. We sit down, we talk, like in as much as he's older than me, but sometimes we exchange ideas. And so if If I even show you my phone now, you see the text messages between he and I. So I know the two people very well. Koga and I were schoolmates for 4 years at the
So
AD.
are you shocked about what's happening between them?
No, I'm not shocked. I think what has happened is that Koga is still trying to recover from this whole, being a senator, because Koga came from the lower house, and then he now at the what we call the upper house. That's the House of Elders, And with the euphoria, I think he's still trying to get his balance. But between you and I don't see it as a conflict, like the vice president said. And you can actually, listen to his voice, his demeanor, and that's the kind of person Jerry is. In fact, this is a guy who will not even call you by your name, or he will call you chief. And when you call him bossman, he call you chief or so. So definitely this whole issue is just few people talking to Koga here and there. Oh no, you senator, you can be this, you can be that. But at the end of the day, let me say this, and I want to be clear here. Nimma's closest route to the presidency is through Jeremiah Kwan-Koon, whether we like it or not.
Because you know him.
Aside from me knowing him, even on the road of ascendancy, he's next to the president. He's the vice president. And if it comes to
does that mean I can assign to the presidency?
But
easily, does that mean
the Constitution says, God forbid, if the Oben decide to step aside today, Jeremiah could become the next president.
But let me ask you, do you know what Koga is really fighting for? Koga, who's the godfather of the county?
Look, before even Prince Johnson died, he made Jeremiah Kwan-Koon as the standard bearer of the MDRO. The MDRO is originally a party from Nimba County. So what does that tell you? And in every setting, the vice president is second in the country. So even in Nimba, Jeremiah Kwan-Koon is still higher than Senator Koga. Not because Senator Koga jumped over Prince Johnson body makes him the godfather of Nimba. No. For respect's sake, the vice president remains the head.
Okay, let's hold it and hear from Moses. Moses, let's hear from
Let me just say something. Mr. Famule, I like your initial statement that, hey, I know these two gentlemen. So let Kennedy go first. And they gave you a few seconds to talk. And you just compromised the neutrality. For the fact you stated that the way forward for Nimba is through Jeremiah Koon, it means that you are already neutralized Koga. And someone who come here across as neutral should not be talking like that, because you have two friends. What I can speak to, what I can speak to is that the vice president demonstrated leadership. He came across as a diplomat. He did not want to come and say, "Oh yeah, Koga and I are false." That would look bad. But the vice president knows that he and Koga are at loggerhead. Everybody knows that the both of them are at loggerhead. But he did not want to say that publicly, because he knows that they can discuss it behind the scenes and resolve it amicably. So I must commend the vice president for that. But Mr. Famula, I beg to differ for you to say that the only way forward for Nimba is through Jeremiah Koon. Come 2029, who knows? President Walker may choose to what? Go for what? Second term. And say, hey, my man, Jerry, I just can't take you along with me. Then what happens? Or the president can say, hey, Jerry, we just can't work together because the both of us are incompatible. Are you saying that they can't get any other person to do that?
Okay.
I don't think you have been fair to Koga.
Okay, Moses, you made a thought on that. Let's hear from you.
Sunday decided to fight tonight. He's a George and all. So the whole thing is, for me, I've been interacting with these people, the two people from far distance. They don't know me. I don't know them in person. I'll say I see them acting or whatsoever.
You've been honest on that.
Yeah.
You be honest with
I had
that.
never met Koga in person before.
Okay.
I never met the VP. I say here, I speak to even say hello to one another before. No, but I let based on their behavior as I see from distance. Senator Koga is a guy who speaks his mind, whether wrong or right. He speaks his mind. And the vice president is a diplomat. Senator Koga is angry or got angry because of his seat as representative that he left when he won the senatorial seat. He wanted to handpick someone to replace him. But he got angry when someone believed to be closer to the VP won that seat. So he felt that his position in the country was being weakened. Senator Koga feels that because he's related to Senator Johnson, he should be the one, the heir,
The godfather.
the godfather for Nimba County. But Senator Koga was leaving when then Senator PYJ lifted now Vice President Jeremiah Kunse and said, "This is the man who I want him to replace me." The videos are all over. He said, "The day I'm not around, this Jeremiah Kun is the one I ate with his right. He ate the right way. He served me the right way. He should replace me." The Nimba Koga that message. He didn't choose Senator Koga. So that recording did not end because Senator Vice President Kun went as far as saying, if you do DNA on Senator Johnson and Senator Koga, late Senator Johnson and Senator Koga, that DNA will match.
They are relatives, yeah.
If you do DNA on me and the late Senator Prince Johnson, it will not match.
Yeah.
So Senator Koga is the head of the Johnson,
family.
He was very clear. That's why I wanted him to
Yeah.
play when they can do something. But I mean, that was very diplomatic and professional.
Okay. Now, gentlemen, let me go forward with a question.
Yeah.
That was very diplomatic and professional, and like Moses said,
Yeah.
he demonstrated leadership.
Yeah.
Now, with his reaction, let's assume that it doesn't sync well with Koga, Senator Koga. Do you see in any way what's happening between them, that beef now? Do you see it in any way affecting the popularity of Vice President Coney in Nimba County? Do you see it in any way? Let me hear from you.
As their friends. They are friends too.
Well, I don't think so. You see, we all, as maybe politicians or whatever, we may have our own feelings, we may have our own different kind of beliefs or so. But when it comes to making decision for the county, there are people in the county, there are elders and stuff. They're listening to these things. The only person that had the authority to say to the elder that this is where I want to go and you all will follow, or else I would take Nima along with me, was Prince Johnson. And we saw that in 2017 when the elders came from the county and said they didn't want this, and the late Senator Prince Johnson said he was going to support President Weah. They should go back to the county, and he went back there and convinced them. If it reached to the point where the elders of the county will have to get involved and tell Senator Koga that this was the man that Senator Johnson picked to replace him in this county. Yes, you are a senator who replaces Senator Johnson, but as vice president, he's higher than you in rank in this county. You have to give him the respect and stop what you're doing. He's a tradition man, as he claims to be. He will have to follow. So for me, I don't see it
So
as
you
distraction.
don't think some of the elders are backing him?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
In fact, there was a backlash in his last speech that he made. I know which of the town said,
Yeah, I
was
think,
saying, "Bah."
somewhere, yeah.
Some of the chiefs came and said, "Look, yes, we elected you. We elected you because you are our senator's nephew or whoever. But now we're not going to go with you the way you're behaving." They were very clear, some of the chiefs. So you see, Nima, like Lofa is a traditional county, especially the town people, those people. I told someone, I said, don't waste your time to say you're going to fight with your intention of splitting the down vote so that the down people will be split to go behind you, and so that you will take a man person or down person. No. If you come to the United Party, we'll be following up. We've been following United Party since 1997. You can see United Party strength in Nima County. It's the man people.
Now, gentlemen,
If you go to that side, on the tribal side, Jerry from there, definitely will be.
we will shortly close on this on this topic. But the way and the manner in which the VP responded, yes, like Moses said, he demonstrated leadership, but one to think and one to interpret it as someone who is trying to give in to Senator Koga so as to make Senator Koga to water down its outbursts and all of that against it. You think that's a strategy by Vice President Koga?
I don't think so. I think he was very clear that Senator Koga had met him a couple of times and he has never said to him what were the issues or so. So he's waiting until the day that Senator Koga is ready to discuss those things. He will bring it out. And you know, one thing we have to realize, the vice president has no authority to appoint people into government. He can only recommend, he can go to his boss man, who happens to be the president, who the constitution gave him the sole power to appoint, and say, can you please appoint these people for me? It is left for the president to say, I will do it or I will not do it. So he was clear. Some of the recommendations that were made, and he clearly said it, some people did not meet the qualification, and those who met it, he went to the president and the president did XYZ. So if these are some of the contending issues that Senator Koga has, he needs to go and sit with the vice president. Senator Koga office is in the Capitol building. The vice president office is there. So what is so big? And also, they have a Nimba County caucus, which of course, they can invite the vice president at any given point in time. I remember even just quite a while, the vice president had a meeting, one of them, including even this guy, Musa Ability. Mm-hmm. They all were in his house and they had discussions. At the end of the day, the vice president is the most senior government official from your county. You have two senators. You one, and another one. There's only one vice president in the Republic of Liberia. And it should be your pride that vice president is from your county.
Now, don't you see any sort of difficulty for the vice president if Koga continues with his onslaughts, and at the same time Musa abilities on the other side trying to encourage some citizens of Nimba County to go the way of the CMC?
When it comes to Senator Koga, yes, because it's a distraction.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to Musa's side because I know what will happen to him. But Senator Koga poses distraction because these people are seen as allies. The vice president wore his military suit with a boot and took his political arm and got in the bushes, villages, to campaign for Senator Koga to be senator. And he told the president that if we get less than 20,000 votes margin, they'll lose the election. And he got around 22,000 votes margin. He came with that victory. So he won't feel fine if someone who they've all been together over the years fighting him back politically.
And he that could distract his
he has to compensate to distract him. It may not lead to defeat, but it can distract. It got to, because you're looking at going outside, forward, other people who you're going to. So there's someone at your backyard punching you. It's not a good thing. So that's why.
So do they need any reconciliation?
Sure.
Of course they need. Sure. But like the vice president say, if there's anything, I think Senator Koga should be able to sit with the vice president and say, look, these are the issues, and let's see how we can move forward.
Okay, gentlemen. So finally, let's try to treat this last topic quickly. We are hearing and reading also about some new attempt to remove the deputy speaker. We don't know how true is it, but that's trending on online and also on radio and other local dailies. What are you reading? Let me begin with you this time around.
Seriously, I won't sit there and lie or anything because I have not really been following this deputy speaker issue to the letter. But I've been hearing it around. Anything I say could be that part of the rumor mongering. But as a former legislative reporter, I've not seen, because someone said the day resolution.
The trigger, right?
Yeah, so, I'm not seeing any major trigger. You know what? Frankly, I see it as an attempt from some of those who he might have allegedly, they say he betrayed them and, you know, trying to fight back. But they say you will get that number, because the first time I heard was that somebody made an attempt, but the 44, how to call it, caucus members that elected the speaker, they held together and rejected. If that number continues to hold, definitely such a thing will not happen, because it need to get two-thirds.
Okay. Now, let me read this post. Let me read this post from Boman J.V. Boman, former deputy for rural broadcasting at the LBS. He's, I think, somewhere in Sierra Leone.
Okay. He's
okay. I thought he was in Sierra Leone. But he's following the drama on ground. He said, if JMB does not intervene between now and January, Deputy Speaker Thomas P. Fowler would be replaced. Speaker Kun is adamant. He strongly believes that Tifa is trying to overshadow him in the House, and as such, he should be replaced with Honorable Sekou Kanu. But key lawmakers close to Honorable Thomas P. Fowler have resisted the move. But like in the case of former Speaker J. Fonati Kufa, the Deputy Speaker could just be counting his days, except President Blocker steps in. Fowler will soon become history as Deputy Speaker. Now, he's saying, and this could be also the views of others, that the president will have to intervene, because the same, there's a growing row between the deputy and the former speaker. But if that's going to happen, if that will interplay or play out, what do you think will likely happen at the legislature? Do we see another drama, another long stall of that work again?
Well, you know, the legislature is a political theater.
Huh?
It's a political theater. It is where you know politics is at its best, whether we like it or not. So sometimes when you hear these news coming from the legislature, you have to look at it critically. But I don't want to believe that there's any reason for a resolution to remove Deputy Speaker Fowler. Deputy Speaker Fowler has experience as a legislator, because he's one of the longest serving guys in there. I think he served on Ways Means, he served on a lot of other committees. Now, there's been no conflict that I know of, whether knowingly or maybe behind closed door, between Speaker Kun and Deputy Speaker Fowler. First of all, there will be no reason why Speaker Kun will want to remove Deputy Speaker Fowler, because certainly the Deputy Speaker positionship is nominal, almost like the Vice President or so.
Let me
You have to be instructed by the Speaker. Yeah,
there could be a reason for wanting to remove Deputy Speaker Fowler on grounds that he's not originally from the Unity Party.
No, but
and apparently, the Unity Party, as a hierarchy, would need the deputy and the speaker from the party.
No, but then let me go back further down, because as far as we are concerned, Deputy Speaker Fowler has been expelled from the CDC. So he's no longer a sedition.
He still got a block of the CDC.
There's nothing called block. So
he still got a thinking of the CDC.
So it's going to be very, very important for the Unity Party to see if they can bring him on board as a key figure from the CDC. In fact, this was the man that fought this current president in his own county and got significant vote for the CDC. So he's important to the Unity Party than anybody else.
Don't you think he'll be paying for his sins? The fact that let me ask
he
you,
has no sin.
You from the inside.
He has no sin. He has no sin to pay for.
He went against the current president and
it was election time, and he needed his seat, and he needed to protect what he had.
So, gentlemen,
so in all fairness, I wanted to caution the source of the article. You see, credibility is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Obama gave Obama who went on the air, he said, a wife and former president, we are this, all kind of things. Those kind of things, it puts
Don't go off tangent here. The man, don't link the man to.
Read out. No, I'm not linking what he did. What he did, right?
No, but you can't go off
so
tangent.
read what he wrote. Read what he wrote there. He said, if the president does not intervene, this thing will happen. But Deputy Speaker Farah just came from the UN.
With the president.
With the president. And who hosted here at the Capitol building? It was the Speaker. There are 11 people there in our welcoming Senate, and who also has issued statement? Senator Cornell. For District 2, Senator Cornell. So you issued a statement saying that it is false. There is nothing that will happen. Deputy Speaker Farah remains. So
you don't see any attempt.
The individual can be in Freetown.
And secondly, it's a dangerous trend.
Yeah, so
the mere fact that he's trying to invite the president into any happening within the legislature, it means that it's politically motivated. Some of these comments to show that the president is interfering in the workings of the legislature. The president has not. It's three separate branches of government. The president cannot interfere in the workings of the legislature.
Okay, gentlemen, let's try to open the lines briefly for a few calls, and then we can call it a quit. 0886-050507. Again, 0886-050507. Or better still, 0778-460-793. Again, 0778-460-793. That's the numbers to call. We've been treating three major topics. We went into the remarks made by the president today at the opening, the court opening of the Supreme Court, the October term opening of the Supreme Court. We went into the remarks made by the president. Also talk about the drama between VP Cone and Senator Koga. We played the tape, the interview conducted with the VP today. We also tried to look into report about the removal of the current deputy speaker. Does any of the discussion claim your attention? You can put the calls on 0886-050507. Again, 0886-050507. Or better still, 0778-460-793. Again, 0778-460-793. That's the number to call, and you are live. Let me take this call quickly. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
This is Pascal Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for the show. And let me say, Sobo, the reason why our country is like this is because almost everybody are in fear. For all of us, including our families, if we want to ascend and perceive that the president is now melting into the legislature, we're all happy with the removal of Kopa. All of us. We were very young when Richard said we wanted to be a regime speaker. They said it. You were here when one lawmaker admitted of being bad. Of course, the bureaus are there. You saw it. They spent money. You were here when one lawmaker admitted that yes, they went to the president's home and they were getting 5,000. What more action you want to see before you know that the president from day one has been melting in the functions of the legislature? You know, sometimes I can really wonder how we learn our book and how we want to feel our country like
okay.
This. We got to be honest.
Okay.
We got to be honest.
Okay.
As I end with this, Koga and Cone issue. Look, the most deceitful and the grumpy bunch of people in Liberia are the Nigerians. They're so deceitful. So why am I going to put my more in people who already hate themselves? And they're evil to themselves.
Okay, many thanks. Let's just call on the line quickly. Good evening. I'm okay. Let's hear from you quickly.
Yeah, I'm calling from Yekepa.
Okay, from Yekepa. Let's hear from you.
When we talk about the president, as the work of the president is doing very well. for every session in a court, every meeting in a court, president should go and visit the court and see the welfare of the court, that the citizen can be happy to see what's going on in the court. So we have a good president. It was a level you can buy a key of the work from the Bakato to replace that man to give the country a suite and we enjoy the country.
Okay, thank you. 0886 050507. Again, 0886 050507. Better still 0778 460 793. Again, 0778 460 793. We've been looking into the remarks made by the president at the court's opening, the Supreme Court opening today. Also been looking at what's been happening between VP Kong and Senator Koga. We've been looking at the attending consequences and reports of attempt to remove the deputy speaker. Will also been looking at that as well. Which of them that claim your attention? You can call on 0886 050507 or better still 0778 460 793. Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Good evening, Sir George.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
I'm just at the chasing of very much.
Okay.
I'm interested in the issue of the power president and
Okay.
Senator Koga.
Mhm.
When smoke somewhere, when they letting the fire, smoke, they say, no, nothing happened. Nothing happening. I listened to the interview, I listened to him on the radio station went to they were live. So he said nothing happened between them. All that thing he explained. Nothing happened in Koga last week, but Koga State explaining things. And he is saying 2029, there will be no problem in Nimba. Let him live like that and see whatever happens. Thank you.
Okay, 086 050507. That's the number to call. Or better still 0778 460 793. Again, 0778 460 793. That's the number to call, and you are live. Which of the topic, in fact, is of interest to you? Tonight, we've been looking at looking at the opening, the term of court, opening of the Supreme Court, and of course, we've been also analyzing the remarks made by the president. We've also been looking at what's happening between VP Kung and Senator Koga, Sam Koga, and the attending consequences. If that happens, what could likely happen to the presidential bid of the vice president? Also, we've been looking at reported news about plot to remove the deputy speaker. So you can call us on 0778 460 793, or better still 0886 050507. Again, 0886 050507 or 0778 460 793. That's the number to call, and you are live on the program. Now, you listen to the last one of the guy who just called, the tail call, and you heard how he spoke. He said that yes, the VP said nothing happening between he and Koga, but Koga is still speaking.
Yes, but the thing is that who's better to say that there's nothing between he and Koga? It is the vice president. If the vice president say that Koga had not reached out to him to tell him what is the issue, with nobody to say, okay, no, he's trying to hide, he's trying to do XYZ. And if Koga feels that there are issues that he needs to discuss with the vice president, the both of them are in the Capitol building. And there will be no time where Senator Koga will want to see the vice president, and the vice president say, I cannot see you at my office. So he needs to go there and sit with the vice president. But one of your callers says something very demure about the people of Nimba County. Irrespective of our political differences, you don't try to label people as being deceitful and don't like each other or so. Those things are wrong. So I think every human being, whether we like each other or so, brothers and sisters can fight, they can be plowed, but at the end of the day, there will always be a way where they can sit around the table, discuss these things as family, and then move on.
I think just to pick up on where he ended, Well, if Nimbapo are deceitful because they didn't support their candidate 2023, wait, it will be more deceitful to you in 2029. That's all I can say to that person. But you will see that how deceitful it will be to you in 2023 because you building your hope now, saying that Coca will come. That's a mistake. Don't depend on Coca. I can really say that. But I want to say thank them, and I want to also thank the president for actually pushing some of the things we've been discussing here about judicial reform. We want the judiciary to be more functional, properly functioning and well supported to do the work that they do to keep the peace. The judiciary is, in my mind, is the number one institution that can maintain actual functioning of the government, the peace, stability of the country. Let me share a little story here. What people are happy. During Mr. Taylor's time, we went to court. I and someone. I thought I would never have gotten justice because the character that was involved in the case was the president's brother. Then, but when the court, we got justice in the court. Mayton D. Taylor. We got justice. I thought he was a judge. So if someone can get trust in the judicial system, that person can feel free to live in line with the laws and other things. So the president should not only talk about it, the president should invest, the government should invest in the judiciary to make it more properly functional.
Okay.
So that's what I.
Any particular quickly?
Yes, let me say this, and also I will address the color that talks about the president's involvement in the legislature. We did not in any way say that any president have not been involved with the workings of the legislature. What we're saying, for a character to be able to ask the president to interfere in the workings of the legislature, whether they want to change leadership or deputy speaker or so, I think it's wrong because it goes against our laws that say the separation of power, 3 branches coordinated, separate, so that's from the point. But I think based on the president's remarks today, it gave us hope that indeed you have a leadership that understands that in the absence of the rule of law, you will have no development, you will not move forward, your country will be stagnated. And like he spoke today to the Chief Justice and the judiciary, that don't just talk, you should act. And the Chief Justice threw it back to him. Mr. President, we're ready to act, but we need full support from you. So therefore, once you can give us the support, we're ready to reform the judiciary. The Chief Justice also talks about the issue of case management. He talks about the issue of pre-trial detainees. And in fact, he gave a chronological breakdown of over 100 plus accused individuals who are accused of rape and they are lingering behind bars for more than 10 years. They've never gone to court. Wow. He said it clear that this is a violation of their rights.
Fundamental violation.
Their fundamental rights. So therefore, we should have a speedy trial processes so that when these people come before the law, whether they're guilty, they can go serve that term, or if they're free, they can be out. Because there are some people in there that are just been accused. And we have this culture. Some people will take you to the magisterial court and say, I will make sure I will lock you up. So they take you to the court, the judge send you to jail, and the parties never come back to the court to even bring that case back. And people just linger in jail. He also, the Chief Justice also talks about the overcrowdedness of the prison system now. The correction aspect of our justice system falls directly with the executive branch of government. And most of the prisons that were built, those prisons were built in the 60s, in the 50s or so. It weren't built to host the number of inmates that we are hosting now. So he also asked the executive, we need to build additional prison. The population is increasing, as they just did for the law school. And that was actually thoughtful of the Chief Justice to talk about the new law school that was just established. He said for the past 70 years, you have only one law school in the Republic of Liberia, the Louis Arthur Graham School of Law. But he was thankful that Liberians could think to establish another law school that will be able to provide more lawyers for the country. I think these things are a good sign that we're moving forward.
Okay, I think that may give my version, and so we can all close. On the first topic that we treated, I think the president spoke well, but no, the implementation. The president will make the policy, but there are heads of agencies. The agencies are the ones responsible to implement those policies. The president spoke up very well about drawing a dichotomy between the national development and the rule of law, which is true. He says it's inseparable. But again, the president cannot come from the mansion to implement the rule of law. It has to do with the courts, the judicial branch. It has to do with those in the justice system, like the police. So, but again, yes. So again, when those people who are heading the agencies, when they slip off, what happens? The name of the president goes.
Yeah.
Oh, President boycotts government. So like that, what he needs to do, why it is true giving those policies to announce them, he should be able to get on the back and say, look, rule of law is very important. If cases came to the court, those cases should be adjudicated speedily, so that people have, people have justice. So he should have people that will always, beat on those people, or maybe, get on the back of those people to carry out whatever policies that he gave him to read. Because when the president reads those things, people say, oh yeah, the government says this thing, the government says that thing, the government says this one. But then at the end of the day, if things don't happen, at the end of the day, it affects the image of not the government, but the president, because he's the head of the country. So those who are heading those agencies, they need to play pivotal role in making sure that whatever policies or information they give to Omen, they should be able to implement, so that Omen just doesn't talk. Rather, when he talks, those things comes to fruition. On the second topic that has to do with Senator Cole and Koga, I think they both of them need reconciliatory talks. They need to do it now. They are from the same county. And if they both can see reason, or maybe Koga can see reason, I think the VP can use some elders, go through some elders to bring Koga to book, or invite Koga to a meeting and say, look, Koga, we need to sit down and talk, because what you are doing, it could cause distraction for me tomorrow. It could cause distraction for me tomorrow. And I don't think you want for that to happen to Nima Kante. If I excel well, it's Nima Kante that has excelled. So we need to sit down and talk and find a way out. I don't think Koga is a difficult president. I don't think Koga is that complicated. The VP can find a way and hold a reconciliation meeting with Koga. But if he doesn't do it, and Koga, let's assume, like what we're hearing, Koga try to join ranks with the CDC, he'll be taking some of the Nima people and taking it to CDC, while CMC or Musa Belede taking all the rest of the Nima people coming into CMC. So that's what happens to the VP. So we're hoping that he can try to engage Koga so they can have a reconciliation talk. On the third discussion, I think it's rumored that the deputy speaker, he's on his way out of that office. I hope it doesn't happen, because when it happens, it will store legislative function like how it was, in the removal of Fornanti Kofa. I know there are people who are committed to him, who are good friends of the deputy speaker. Let him keep that bond. Let him not allow some ego to say, well, I don't think they're going to remove me. And then at the end of the day, he start to give his men a back kick. Let him keep that bond together. There are some individuals who are in that legislature who are his friends. Let him keep that bond together, so that if there's any attempt to have him removed, the removers, whoever attempting to do that will not gather the necessary signatures, because then he will have had a very strong grip on his colleagues. Let him try by all means, maintaining those grips with his colleagues. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you, George Kennedy, for your commitment, and Mr. Fambule. We also want to thank you for always coming. Likewise, Moses Sandy. I know Moses had gone, but he's still following. We're hoping that we can meet on Wednesday again for another interesting edition of the Nighttime Heat. But before going, let me try to just recognize some of our viewers. Sidi Kitrawari, he always watching, but he doesn't say from where. Henry T. Toll Jr. from Cornwall, he said. Ophia S. George from home, she said. Isaac J. Woods, he didn't say from where. Gloria Boyu passed away. She's been watching from the U.S. Seth Brown, didn't say from where. Vinicius Junior Bar, didn't say from where. Evangelist Cephas God Cares, didn't say from where. Abel Port from Grand Bassa County, you've been watching. Kappa, that Romy, didn't say from where. Alberto Cabia, didn't say from where as well. Well, I know we got a couple of you, we can call the names. Join us on Wednesday. Thanks to our producers. Until then, Sabo George is my name. Have a restful and a pleasant night.